Pure Religion, Alex Ilie, take 1.1.
Hi, I'm Alex Ilie from Romania, and 15 years ago, I was involved in student ministry, and something very powerful there was go and make disciples. And I remember speaking with Nati at that time, Nati, my wife, how would be the best way to make disciples? And I don't know how we end up with this, that the best way to make disciples would be to adopt. So we start to adopt, and we end up having 7 adopted kids. And I'm executive director for Romania Without Orphans Alliance. When I think about James 1:27, about pure religion, there are a few things that are so relevant for me. One is that I don't see, or I cannot understand how someone can love God and not love what he loved the most, the vulnerable children. I think there we have something that speaks very much about the heart of God and about the way we can live what he wants us to live. So when we started to adopt 15 years ago, there was no one in our church who adopted. And now, 15 years later, I can tell you something amazing about my church. And it's not my church, it is God's church, but I am so excited about this. In our church, there are more adopted children than biological children. And this is amazing. I mean, probably the secret is that we kicked out those who doesn't want to adopt. No, we didn't do that. Simple people saw the blessing that God poured into our lives, and they understand. And we spoke about adoption again and again. And then later, we had the chance to impact the church, all the churches around us, because it created a network that was built in our city, but also in other cities, and then impacted the society. I remember when Ovi and Christina, friends from our church, they adopted a disabled child, Antonia, and that affected their lives first. Ovi, his own testimony says that he was not a prayer person. Many times he would just do some like a habit, but now he told us how much his prayer life was impacted because he's praying for Antonia. He has something very specific to pray. Also, people around, I remember the teachers in the school or the doctors where he has to go, always they ask, why would you do something like that? In Romania, for example, if you have a disabled child, many times people see like a curse. But when the fact that they invited that child in their family, it makes people wonder and ask questions. Why would you do something like that? And their answer is always because we love God, and God did the same for us. So there is a great chance to share the gospel, and people will listen to that because we live what James 1:27 tells us to do. Eric is my youngest son. He has many disabilities. He is blind, he has hydrocephaly, epilepsy, and many other problems. And when we adopted him, people around us thought, oh, you did such a difficult thing, and probably you sacrifice your life and a lot in that area. But what I feel is that no, we didn't sacrifice our life. Our life is so enriched because of Eric. All the other kids, 6 adopted kids, had the chance to not to be only the recipients, but now to be a mean to bless something. They realize Eric needs protection. When people hear that we adopted 7 kids, usually the most common expression is, whoa, what a wonderful family, what extraordinary family. And what I usually tell is that, first of all, we are not an extraordinary family. We are very limited and sinful and imperfect. But the second thing that they don't know, and I always want to make sure is clear, is that we can do what we can do, what we do, because around us there are more than 100 people supporting us and helping us in ways that we couldn't even imagine. So I think pure religion is not only for those who adopt, it is for everybody in a church. I truly believe that God never intended us for live safe lives, lives that we cannot manage with our own resources, wisdom. He intended for us to live in such a way that the only two possible explanation would be either God exists and He's real, He's very, very real, or you are crazy people. And I think that's poor religion.